Hi folks, Steve the Hurricane, and for today's episode of A Drink with the Hurricane, we are going to talk about managing our office staff. Cheers. A Drink with the Hurricane, the home care sales and marketing talk show that discusses all things growing your home care business. So, as you can see, we're here in San Antonio, Texas for the Referral Masters Bootcamp, and this is going to kind of ties into today's episode in letting your staff do what we hired them to do. Behind me, you see people walking around, coming in and out. These are all my office staff. These are all people I work with every single day who are used to running events. When I first started doing boot camps like this, I used to be very involved. I was on top of every detail. I used to make sure that we had all of the supplies. I used to keep the registration. I used to do all these things that kept me in a constant state of stress and anxiety. And I had staff that I had hired to do the work. And that's when I started to realize, let me let go and let the people that I have who work for me do what I hired them to do. So now I'm at a point where I can film Drink with the Hurricane episodes the day before the boot camp starts because I personally have nothing to do except for relax and get in the zone to be able to speak for 2.5, 3 days straight. That's all I have to do. It's a big task, but that's all I have to do. Now, the same thing goes to you with your home care businesses. I know too many business owners who have a scheduler, who have a recruiter, who have a marketer, who have an HR compliance officer, who have a nurse, and the owner has their hands in everything that those people do. And they constantly are correcting their staff. They're constantly redoing the work that their staff has already done. They're constantly getting in the way and slowing down productivity for whatever reason. And I know in many cases it's a trust issue. This is my business. These are my clients. I got to do everything I can to take care of them. I got to help them out. We got to do this. We got to do this. Nobody can do it the way I do it. If I had $1 every time I heard that, I'd be a billionaire. Because I had so many people say, nobody can close a client the way I do. Nobody can staff a case the way I can. I hear this all the time from business owners, and it's like, that's not true. It's not the case. When you hire somebody, you're hiring them to do a job. When you hire them, you train them on how to do it. When they get to a point when you know that they know how to do it, let them do it and get a report at the end of the day. In my office, we use what's called PDI. PDI, it stands for Personal Daily Interaction. Now, PDI is important. Every single person in my organization, they all have their responsibilities, they all have their tasks. And at the end of the day, they send an email in the last 30 minutes before they leave to Nicole, who's my executive director of my company. She gets those PDI emails, and Nick will say, I edited this, I filmed this, I set up this advertising on social media, and I prepared the newsletter for this weekend. Boom. Now we know that that's an 8-hour day, and then some. So we get the PDI update, great. We know it's done. It lets us, because I know we get a lot of mental chatter as business owners. We know all the things that have to get done. So when we get this report at the end of the day, it lets us see just what was accomplished. So imagine a scheduler, and she has 3 cases that she has to schedule. So here's your scheduler. Put in this, made sure that the next 2 weeks are set up about 80% staffed and scheduled in the system. Had to restaff Mrs. Jones, restaff Mrs. Smith, restaff Mr. Weiss, and it's all done. Boom, done. I was worried about that. Now it takes away the worry. Good job, Diane. Thank you for doing that. And so when Nicole, who's my executive director, gets all of the PDI from all of the staff, then she sends me one giant PDI. We stagger our office hours at Hurricane Marketing Enterprises because we have clients all around the world. So Nicole, myself, we come in later, but we'll often at times stay later. Nicole usually leaves around 7 because she comes in at 11 o'clock in the morning, right? So when Nicole comes in, I know around 7 or 8 o'clock, I'm going to receive a PDI email from her. After I put my kids to bed, before my wife and I start to unwind for the evening, I will check Nicole's PDI email, which every once in a while she'll tell me about a business decision that needs to be made or something she needs my feedback on or something in there so I can respond to it so that when she checks it, sometimes she checks her email late at night or she'll check it before she comes into the office in the morning. Everything that she needs for the next day is already taken care of, and I can go to bed at night, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, to have a productive, restful sleep because I'm not worried about what's going on in my business. That's why I find so many people micromanage, because they're worried about what's going on. When we're getting regular updates from the people that we hired, getting regular updates from the people that we trained, getting regular updates from people that we should trust to get their job done right, it takes away that anxiety, that fear, that worry, and then it allows us to focus on things that only we can do as the owner. It allows us to focus on things like I'm in the process of taking a look at a franchise for a salad company to make salads for people, a location, everything. I go to this place called Mixed Greens, and it's delicious, and they're starting. I'm thinking about getting into that franchise for another business. I have a real estate division of Hurricane Marketing Enterprises. I have Mindful Caring, which is a quality assurance division of Hurricane Marketing Enterprises. And obviously, I have the boot camps from the Home Care Sales and Marketing division of Hurricane Marketing Enterprises. That's how I'm able to run all this stuff, because I have good people who I hired to do a job with metrics as to how to do their job. I've trained them, and then I trust them to do what they have to do. How could I run a multi-million-dollar business when I travel 25 weeks out of the year if I didn't have these systems in place? And so I'm sharing this with you now, the viewer, because you can easily do the things that I just said. All you got to do is put the systems in place to allow your organization to thrive and to grow. And if you don't know how to do it, invest in a company that can help you do that and figure out how to do it so that you can run your business the way that you want to run it instead of your business running you. And you can let your staff do what you train them and hire them to do so that you don't have to do it, so that you can continue to focus on the things that you love about your business. And so there's the tip for the day. If you've never been to a boot camp, I highly recommend it. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be in Colorado over the summer. Sign up and register, and I'll see you there.